Hi, everybody. Good morning. Hi, Zoe. Hi, Amy. Hi, Gunraj. Hi, Kate. Hi, Jill. Lovely. Really, really lovely to see you. Hi, Pat. Hi, Sophie. Josie, Imogen. Really lovely to see you all. Morning, Bakes. Look at all those gorgeous faces. Good morning. Hi, Bav. Lovely to see you. Good morning, everybody, and a huge welcome to our April Includability Community Support Group on this gorgeous sunny day. So lovely to see you as all. And as ever, if this is your first time with us on an Includability CSG, then a huge welcome to the family. It's wonderful to have you with us all this morning. And of course, to all of our returning community, it's just brilliant to be by your side as always. If you're happy to do so, please, as always, do take a moment just to introduce yourselves on the chat feed. Many of you will hopefully know now that we have a wonderfully fast growing and incredibly supportive community and includability that is superb at facilitating great introductions. This community belongs to you. So please do tell us about your world, what you do, your upcoming events, how we can support you and to celebrate your business. We'd love to chat about the incredible work that you're doing and, of course, to help provide any support wherever you need us. And serving up a monthly treat, as always, we have an inspirational lineup of four fabulous guest speakers for you across the next hour to help inspire you on your journey in creating a healthier and a more inclusive workplace culture for your business. I'm delighted to be joined by the brilliant Zoe Tufts, founder of Times 10, the amazing Gunraj Arora, strategic legal advisor and executive coach, the wonderful Sophie Springay, culture and engagement lead at Danone, and of course, the fabulous Jill Harding, vision care consultant at our includability partners, Eyemed. And whilst our guest speakers are presenting, our very own James Provato will be dropping includability gold into the chat feed for you, sharing upcoming events, celebration days, fun facts, and resources, and of course, supporting with any questions that you might have during the ESG itself. And now, for our first guest speaker of the morning, I'm delighted to introduce the brilliant Zoe Tufts, founder of Times 10, where she supports clients as a culture consultant and leadership coach. I was first introduced to Zoe by the lovely Sarah Kenny at Gladiator Events. And a lot of Zoe's work will focus on building those productive behaviors and embedding those company values that lead to sustainable growth and allow people in business to thrive together. Something I know will be top of the agenda for many of us on the call today. Zoe, it is so lovely to see you as always. And the virtual floor is yours.
Oh, thank you, Dave. That's a wonderful introduction. I don't think I've ever been introduced quite so enthusiastically and energetically. I think you could definitely have a job as a TV presenter in a different life, but there we go. Maybe that's
Lovely.
something. If you want some career transitioning coaching, I'm here for that.
Oh, Zoe,
Um,
bless you. No one will want me, but I'm yours.
I'm going to share my screen. Can everybody see my screen? Okay.
Perfect.
So, as Dave said, I'm Zoe Tufts. I'm founder of Times 10 Coaching, which is kind of ironic because I've got less than 10 minutes today to share my passion topic for you, which is the value of values. And my job is to roll my sleeves up and help us all align around how values can really inspire growth from within in every business. So, that real employee-led growth across every business. As I say, it's a real passion topic of mine, so super energized to share this with you today. So, being a coach, I've got a big killer question for you all. What makes you tick? Like, can anybody answer that straight off the bat? Anybody want to have a go at answering that? I know that's quite a big question. And actually, what is quite helpful is if we explore our values. So, what are values? Well, values are principles or standards of behavior. They're our judgment of what is important. Now, whilst I love a dictionary definition, I also really love the wonderful Brené Brown, who I think says it perfectly. She says, truly living our values means we practice them, we walk our talk, we are clear about what we believe and hold important, and we take care that our intentions, words, thoughts and behaviors align around those beliefs. And I think she says it brilliantly. For me, values are a belief system. There are guiding principles. There's something that's really deep rooted in our, in our way of being. and they really act as a compass that help us navigate this crazy roller coaster ride that we call life and work. And again, it's something that I find really fascinating when I'm working with individuals and with companies in terms of what makes us all uniquely and brilliantly human. So let me just move that. I've got a question, another big question for you. Hopefully, I'm warming you up to be able to answer this one. What is one personal value that is a non-negotiable in your life? And I'm hoping that one of you or two of you or three of you are going to be brave enough to share one of your non-negotiable values. If you want to have a go at putting them in the chat, that one value. But whilst you have a think, I'm going to share with you one personal value that's really important to me, and that is the value of progress. And for me, it's more about progress over perfection. And that's inspired by my wonderful mum, Karin, who you can see there on the left and the right. On the left, she's there with my older brother. And on the right, she's there with me on firework night. But my mum had a challenging upbringing. She had my brother, Stuart, when she had literally just turned 16. She then went on to have three other children. I'm the third in the four. And my mum always taught us that you don't have to have this perfect life to progress in your life. You can just put one foot in front of the other. So progress over perfection is something that she instilled in all of us. She's had the most fulfilling life. She's still traveling the world. She's a trustee on the board of Pointers in Need. So you'll find her like traveling all over the place, rescuing dogs. So my mum was really the inspiration for that one non-negotiable value that I have, which is progress over perfection. And that's something I take through all aspects of my life and my career. So I'm coming back to you. I've got a list of really nicely alphabetically aligned values here. Does anyone want to share a value that they can't live without? Anyone want to be brave enough to come off mute and share with me?
Integrity.
Oh, I can't see who that is. Sorry, who's that?
I'm hiding. It's Paul Baker.
Oh, hi, Paul. Tell me about integrity. Why is it so important to you?
Because it's the substance that sits behind everything that you say. So what it says to me is your words and your actions are aligned.
Yeah, love
And
that.
and I've been the victim of it not being on a few occasions. So that for me is the non-negotiable.
And how do you feel when it is challenged? Can you describe how you feel when it is challenged?
Wounded.
Yes, wounded. Yeah. Anyone else want to share a non-negotiable value that they hold really true to them? Got some nice ones here about family.
Curiosity. My
And who?
name's Matt.
Oh, hi, Matt. Tell me a bit more about
Hello.
curiosity.
It drives everything that I do. When I'm curious in people and in life, I learn, I grow, I connect, I build a sense of belonging.
Yeah.
And having recently struggled with some mental health stuff over the last couple of years, I know that I stopped being curious.
And so how did that make you feel? What impact did that have?
Lack of curiosity,
Yeah.
it just led to me not being me.
Yeah. Okay, one more. Anyone else? Last one. Anyone else feel brave?
I'll go. I'll go. I put family anyway.
Yeah.
So I think, family is just non-negotiable. I mean, they are my world. They're the reason I am who I am. They keep me grounded. They make me laugh. They make me cry quite often as well. But they are my world, and everything I do at work is for them really as well. So that's a really important value.
So it's a real compass for you to work in service
Yeah,
of your
definitely.
family
Yeah,
and all that.
definitely a North Star
Yeah.
in my world. Yeah.
Brilliant. Well, I think that's all really good proof points, because when we live by our values, we experience increased well-being and happiness. We can make stronger decisions. We create stronger goal alignment. We create greater purpose and fulfillment, which is a much richer version of success. And essentially we can have stronger relationships. And this plays out across business. There's lots of great stats out there that prove to us why values are so important in our businesses too. 83% of employees who live their values at work report higher job satisfaction. 83% of consumers want to buy from companies that align with their values, and you can experience a 4x increase in revenue growth for companies with strong cultures. So I'm going to play a little quiz. I'm going to show you some company values, and you've got to guess who the company or brand is. So anyone want to shout out, guess who these values belong to? Well-known brand. Can I give you a clue? Be a host is a big clue here. Any guesses? Anyone want to shout out, even if it's wrong? Don't worry.
Airbnb.
Yes, well done. Once you see the logo, it obviously makes real sense what that brand is. Okay, got another one for you. I think this might appeal to some of the females on the call. Might be a little bit harder to access. I'm going to share this one with you. This one's Sweaty Betty. And then this one. This is a brand of confection.
Tony's.
Yes, Tony's Chocolatoni. They're having a bit of a tough time at the moment with their recall, but they're a very purpose-led brand that have broken records when it comes to the that they what did they do? Well, they're a Dutch brand, and they were able to break into the Dutch confection market without any above the line advertising, because their purpose and their brand is something that people and consumers really kind of bought into. So I love this quote from them. To us, these core values aren't just pretty words you hang on the wall. They are our compass for making clear choices and tough decisions. Okay, I've got one more for you. This is from the world of entertainment. You can see that there. I'm sure any guesses?
Pixar.
Almost. I've got Disney coming through. This is actually Netflix. Netflix have an incredibly strong culture, and I don't know if any of you have had the opportunity to have a look at their culture memo. If you haven't, check it out. It's an 8,500 word précis of that's really explicit about what it feels like, the behaviors that they expect from their employees. So if you have a read through it, it's pretty transformational. If you read through it, you would have exact clarity on how you would need to show up and thrive in the world of Netflix. And this is the kind of work that I do with my clients, helping them figure out their purpose, their values, and then creating a culture canvas where you can see those values and behaviors, how they apply to every different element of their business. So, for example, in the middle with Netflix, you can see that their purpose is to entertain the world. Their values are the dream team, uncomfortably exciting, people over progress, great and always better. But I think that's great, but what's really amazing is how they make it really clear on how you exemplify those values and behaviors across all aspects of the business. So I'm just going to pick out a few. So under their everyday rituals, pick the right person for every position. Under psychological safety, recognize your biases. Under giving feedback, admit mistakes openly and share learnings widely. I think if you worked at Netflix, you'd be pretty clear on how you need to show up in that culture. And Netflix have on paper quite an aggressive and ambitious culture, but they take care with their recruitment process, so they know that people are clear on what they're signing up for when they buy into it. And I've coached people in Netflix who absolutely adore the culture. Whilst it's hard work and challenging, they're also really supported in the journey. So I think this is, Netflix is one of my culture muses. And when you take care with purpose and values and you build this kind of culture canvas, you're really helping celebrate what essentially is a diverse team, but you're building a set of galvanizing principles that really help people to thrive. And that's super, super helpful. I like to think of values as a bit like a Brighton rock. You've got to have values from within. They've got to be right at the core of your business, not on the outside. It's no point slapping values on the wall and expecting everyone to jump up and down. You've got to do the work to define them and embed them. And then they become a really powerful force in your business, especially if you're trying to grow and scale. So I'm just going to quickly leave you with one quick example. I recently worked with this business. They're an employee-owned trust. Their name is Sledge. They're curators of live experience and film. They're an EOT, and they really wanted to help transform what were quite generic values. You can see here that this is you'd find these values on a lot of different websites. I worked with them to create 4 very unique values: calmly confident, courageously curious, champion differences, and a mighty force. And I work with them to involve everybody in the business to design and embed their values, and they really do live and breathe them, and they've been very transformational in how they show up and really helping the business to grow. You can see there that champion differences value, which is all about celebrating diversity, but bringing the galvanizing forces together to really help them to thrive. So I'm going to leave you with a couple of quick tips. If you want to think about your own values, my suggestion is you shortlist them to 3 to 5, and then you think about why these values really matter to you, but also think about how you live this value. How do you feel when it's challenged? And more importantly, how does this add value to your life, to your relationships? And then don't just leave it there. Make sure you communicate them. Like in every conversation, I try and get the word progression into that conversation, or I try to leave people with the idea that I'm a progressive person. If you want to do it for your company, first step is to honestly evaluate your culture. The second step is to involve everyone in the ideation process and make it fun. The third step is to embed them across every touch point. And finally, take action if behaviors don't align. So that's it. I think I might be slightly over time, but if you want to find out more, here's a QR code to connect with me on LinkedIn. I think that covers it.
Wow, Zoe, that was amazing. Thank you so much. And I mean, that was a wonderful presentation for all your insights as well in your experiences. Zoe achieves amazing results for the businesses she supports with. So please do connect with her. I love my time with Zoe whenever we get to catch up. She's an incredible person and an amazing human to have in your orbit. So please do connect with her. And huge thank you to Kate, to Bakes, and to Matt as well, for being super brave and coming off chat and kind of sharing those insights as well. Zoe, you're wonderful. Thank you so, so much.
It's an absolute pleasure. Thanks.
Thank you so much for being with us and being for such an important part of the community. And just before we introduce our second guest speaker, again on community, a huge thank you to everyone who was able to pop across to the beautiful Firefields X and Y building in London a couple of weeks ago for what was our third Links and Drinks event. It was wonderful to see so many lovely faces under one roof, and a massive thank you to the brilliant X and Y team, to Ollie, Matt, and the entire Firefields crew for hosting us all so beautifully. We had the wonderful Victoria Hardy, founder of Ginger Unhinged. Vic's been on a few times as a CSG guest speaker. She was our guest speaker for the night, talking about female empowerment and menopause allyship. It was extraordinary. So please do give it a watch when we release those video snippets on our Includability LinkedIn page over the coming days. And if you didn't get the chance to attend or fancy coming along to our next event, then you are all invited. We're hoping to have a date confirmed shortly. We're hoping for early July. So we promise to keep you posted so you can pop a pencil around that date. It's a free event, and we'd absolutely love to have you there. And now for our second guest speaker, I'm delighted to introduce the amazing Gunraj Arora, coach, facilitator, mindfulness practitioner, and strategic legal advisor, and of course, one of our wonderful includability ambassadors. Gunraj, it's so lovely to have you with us as always, my friend, and the virtual floor is yours when you're ready.
Thanks, Dave. Just sticking up my PowerPoint. Hopefully you can see that okay.
Perfect, got you. Thanks, Gunraj, lovely.
So I'm slightly piggybacking off you, Zoe. I wasn't quite aware of what you were covering, but it's actually teed me up. So you've done most of the work for me. So I'm going to actually, your last point about communicating values, I think is quite apt to what I'm going to try and sort of cover off here today. which is about contracting your values. So I'm talking about law, so please stick with me for the next few minutes. I hopefully won't be too boring. A little bit about me. I founded GA Legal because I think legal services should be clear and they should be helpful. And I didn't find that in the environments that I worked in. Tried lots of different environments, worked abroad, still couldn't find them. So eventually it was staring me in the face that I have to start to do it myself, which is hence what I'm doing. And really what I'm trying to do is make the law accessible, make it empowering, make it enabling, it can be, so it's useful, and maybe actually make it a little bit fun as well. So I help basically businesses with their legal needs, and I try and do this with values that Zoe has already kindly shared with us. So why do we sort of typically avoid contracts or these legal bits of paper? Well, this is what I usually hear, that they feel too formal, they feel too stiff. Well, we just trust people we're working with, whether internally or externally. So like, why do we need it? It's sometimes too time consuming or costly. Lawyers are often expensive if you want to try and do this externally. And also, like, we think it will be fine. It's fine. We've agreed a service or a contract with somebody to do something. They'll pay a certain amount of money. It'll be fine. And organizations change. People that you agree things with change. We are people that forget things. And so when we come to those roadblocks, those sticking blocks, that's when we find issues. So what should a contract actually do? It's not intended to create conflict. No matter how many lawyers you come across that may do that, that's not what it's supposed to be doing. It's supposed to prevent conflict. And so really, it's a tool for clarity of what you're trying to relate to, for communicating, again, whether it's internal contracts or external contracts. And it should be something that gives you confidence of that relationship that you're entering into, the terms of which that is there to do. So often people think of kind of contracts or legal stuff in an external sense because you have clients and you have various things you're doing. But internally, they're just as important. I've just given a few kind of highlighted points here. Employment contracts, freelance agreements, you've got founders, you've got shareholders agreements, you've got non-disclosure agreements, value-based code of conduct, which I'm sure Zoe has had a lot of kind of work with. And I've really kind of underlined that point there, that they protect people and culture. Again, I'm sort of picking up a lot of the stuff Zoe's done. When she does all that work, the key is then how that becomes implemented and how that becomes sustainable. And that's what I love about contracts or bits of paper that help us do an exercise, say with Zoe at a point in time, and then say, okay, how do we make sure this is embedded into the organization beyond, say, the HR lead who's there, beyond the people that came up with the great ideas, to actually make sure it's something that carries on and people can look to as a frame of reference and say, look, Zoe's done all this hard work with us. Now we're the ones that embed it. We're the ones that go and do it. So I'm super passionate about the effect it can have in ensuring those values are retained within an organization. Then obviously it goes without saying that these contracts become very important and critical for your external interactions. And again, I've put here about how it protects your purpose. So again, a good external contract should help you set the boundaries and expectations clearly. What are you providing? What are the terms are you going to provide them upon? Again, we all sometimes get nervous around payment, how much, when. And so, having clarity of, okay, I'm delivering this service to you, I'm delivering this product to you, I expect to get paid with an X or Y. You have that all documented. It avoids any awkward conversations, having to kind of call and say, oh, can I have my money, please, for, speaking at the Includability SG on the 30th, Dave. It's already defined in our well-drafted contract, isn't it, Dave? And it helps us, clearly define what that scope is. And importantly, protect your IP, protect your intellectual property. If you're producing content, you're producing value, you know whether that's something you need to retain and can't be replicated, or you're curating it specifically for a client so that they can go. Again, helps to make sure you're really clear on what it is you're providing and why. And importantly, that last point, again, they're staying true to your mission. So again, I work with a lot of clients to make sure that there's ethical clauses in there in terms of what they're providing, what they expect the clients to do with what they're providing, et cetera, et cetera. So you really can frame this to make sure that it reflects your values, your company values. Make it human. This is something I'm really, really, really passionate about. That again led me to setting this up, because too much of what is in the industry is old, it's archaic, it's got the sort of legalese, here to forthwith, and I can't understand most of it, and I've been doing this over 15 years. So how are any of you supposed to? And it should be readable and accessible to everybody. And so here are the key points that I think a contract must have. It must sound human, be able to be understood by all, easy to read, and importantly, get used. Because so much in organizations I've been to, they have got themselves caught in so many obligations, but they just do a deal, they sign whatever is there, and they chuck it in the cupboard because they can't read it. And unfortunately, that's led to a lot of consequences that could be avoided. I love that little cartoon, by the way. That's just sort of sums it up, I think. So here are kind of, I guess, 3 kind of top tips that I'll give to kind of help you on your way, if wherever you are. Start with something simple, whatever that is, whether internally or you've agreed something externally. Start with it. Use ChatGPT. Don't tell the lawyers I've told you this, but you can feed information in that it will give you a base contract, and it's pretty good. Trust me, I've tried it. Importantly, make sure you have the key clause at the front. A lot of contracts, again, they put a lot of bump in the front, and the key, we're providing this service for this amount of money, is somewhere in between. But make sure you've got all the key stuff at the beginning. And I think this third point, again, is super critical. Businesses are constantly evolving. So your contracts, the bits of paper you have, must reflect that growth. And again, I've been in a lot of organizations that typically small, they grow quite quickly, but they haven't sort of kept that up, and it becomes challenging. So just have some sort of process by which you can kind of keep checking in. So again, this is one of my real passions. Let's redefine what we mean by this legal. And this is what I'm really focused on, which is making sure that the contracts actually reflect your brand, actually in some ways enhance your brand, protect your people, that's the internal side, and really support your purpose. That's, again, those obligations, those ethical clauses, etc., when you're contracting people. And let's move away from this kind of fear-based, we don't want to touch it, we don't know about it, and actually something, picking up on Zoe again, towards value-based legal, being helpful, being supported, being a guidance mechanism. So finally, I'm always happy to chat. I've tried to keep this very brief and informative for a reason, but I'm always happy to have chats about legal in plain English. No jargon, no rubbish, just here to support, here to help, here to enable. So yeah, my mission really, let's make legal work for us as purpose-led businesses, not against anybody. And that's it. I hope I've haven't taken up too much of my allotted time.
Gunraj, you definitely haven't. You were brilliant and perfect. Thank you so much. And you're always able, and I love you for a million and one reasons, but you're incredible at taking such key, important legal concepts and making them accessible and understandable. And as a result, really empower people to make a difference within their business for the good of all. I feel I could safely challenge anyone not to feel massively uplifted just spending time with you and receiving your support. We're very proud that you're part of the includability go-to on all things legal. So massively appreciate you and all your time with us this morning. Gunraj, thank you as always. And now, just before I introduce our third guest speaker, we would love you to vote for a charitable project that we can support on your behalf this morning through our partnership with B1G1. To all of our CSG regulars, you'll know that they are a brilliant global giving platform that support hundreds of charitable projects, both in the UK and internationally, all positively impacting the UN Sustainable Development Goals. So as ever, you're doing something incredible for the planet simply by being awesome and hanging out with us this morning. James is going to be wonderful. He's going to drop these options into the chat feed for you shortly. We've got 3 amazing high impact community projects for you to choose from, and simply pop the letter of your chosen project in the feed, A, B, or C. Project A is providing shelter repairs for a disadvantaged community in the Philippines. Project B is planting trees for forest protection in India. And Project C is the gift of 5 textbooks to disadvantaged children in Kenya. As you cast your votes, I am delighted to introduce the brilliant Sophie Springay, Culture and Engagement Lead at Danone. Danone completed the verification process with our verification partners 2 years ago now to become an includability committed employer. And in November, they won both the Talent Management Award and Committed Employer of the Year at our annual ICE Awards. I love learning from our committed employers to understand what's worked for them in supporting their workplace culture. And Sophie has worked, I know, tirelessly to drive engagement for the team and the brilliant support that she gets within that team as well to support within the business. Sophie, I'm thrilled you're here. Thank you so much for joining us. And the virtual floor is yours when you're comfortable.
Thank you. God, Dave, is there anyone better at introductions, honestly? So yeah, hi everyone. I am the Culture and Engagement Lead here at Danone, with a remit which includes DEI and health and wellbeing as well. I'm about a year into this role, having worked most of my career in marketing, and I'm learning every day. There is so much that I don't know, and so I'm so happy to have a chance to join these kind of sessions and contribute where I can. So I'm going to share a little bit about inclusion at Danone, more specifically about our employee network groups, or we call them ENGs here, and share some tips on how you might want to set them up and help them thrive as well. And then I'm also going to introduce you to one of our amazing ENG leads, Annie Law, to share a little bit about her experience. Now, I do have some slides, but I'm in this tiny little cupboard room in the office with really terrible connectivity. Dave, I sent you the slides. I don't know whether I've literally just sent them to you, so don't know. It's not on you, but I was just wondering if you have them, if you could share them.
Sophie, you're gonna make me do something technical, and I'm end up gonna kick everybody off this. Of course I can. Give me.
Well, I'm
2
recruiting you
seconds.
while we're on this call.
This is called like thinking on your feet, and you know I'm gonna fail and probably cry halfway through. Let's jump in now. I'm so sorry, everybody. Bear with me. Sophie,
No,
you're a star.
this is all me.
No, you're wonderful. I'm thrilled that we've got you. Sophie, you're a star. I've got it. It's uploading.
Oh,
I think I
amazing.
need to chuck in more coal into the engine just to get it going this morning. Here we go. So if I go to, I can feel James's eyes burning through the back of my head as he's giggling as I try and put this together. Let's see if I can.
Like, it's always appalling when the Wi-Fi is worse in the office than it is at home. Like, how is that possible?
I know.
I mean, it could be worse. We could be in Spain. We could have a complete blackout, you know, so
I
I'll
think
take
you're
what I can
absolutely
get.
right. Somehow it will work. Sophie, I've got the presentation. I'm going to go to screen
You
share. Forgive
star.
me. I'm going to try, if I can, to bring
Oh my
this
gosh,
up
thank you, Dave.
to
I owe
full
you a drink
screen as well.
after this.
No, you're incredible. I'm hoping I can make this work for us. Here we go. Let me
If not,
know
I'll just
if we
talk through it.
can. You're lovely. Sophie, how's that? What I'll do is I'll try
Oh,
and
phenomenal.
bring that up as you talk. I'll try and bring it up to like a full profile as well. I promise.
Perfect. You absolute star. Thank you, Dave. Absolute whiz kid. Perfect. So yeah, I guess on this slide here, you can just see a little bit about our narrative for DEI at Danone, obviously a hot topic in the world. But over the past 18 months at Danone, we've been on a pretty transformative journey and really evolving so that we can better reflect the diversity of the patients and the consumers that we have. So our ambition is for every Danoner to feel included, heard, and valued for the unique contribution they bring. And for us, and hopefully for all of you on this call, this commitment isn't just about doing what's right. We know it helps us to drive better business outcomes and foster a culture of belonging as well. So if you click on Dave, sorry, I'm going to sound like the guy in COVID times. So our strategy has 3 main pillars. So inclusive workplace, diverse workforce, and external reputation. Now, external reputation, starting from the other side, considers things like our brands and how they show up. diverse workforce is all about our inclusive talent practices, which we have actually a lot on, but that can be a different session. And inclusive workplace considers things like ensuring our leaders champion inclusivity and having active and empowered employee network groups. Now, I think most companies actually call these ERGs, employee resource groups, but we reframed them at Danone as ENGs, as they kind of bring employees together with shared identities, culture, demographics into a supportive network. So we just preferred the word network for Danone. And Danoners within these ENGs build and share knowledge, they raise cultural awareness, they connect employees, but they're also our agents of change. So they really shine a light in areas where we might not be inclusive yet, and help us to influence the business to act. Now, if you click on, we have quite a number of ENGs, spanning a range of identities and topics such as women's empowerment, people with disabilities, carers, working parents, employees from ethnic minority backgrounds, and there's one coming soon on neurodiversity as well. And the key thing is that these have been instigated and kicked off and then owned as well by the employees who want them. They're not created and led by me, by HR. They really are kicked off the ground by passionate employees who are looking for them. And now currently about 27% of our employees actually belong to an ENG, which is great. They're really active. They've had some really great feedback on how they're driving inclusion. Obviously a lot more that we can do, but I just wanted to share a few things that have really helped us to succeed in this area. And then I'm going to pass you on to Annie Law. So if you click on, I was just going to share a few things that have really helped us thrive, and that would be my tips really to anyone listening. So first is get executive leadership sponsorship. So for us, these sponsors have volunteered to be thinking partners to the ENG leads. They coach them, they help them build proposals, they meet with them regularly, they champion the agenda internally and at higher levels. And actually, we're even starting to get some board sponsorship now too, which is fantastic. The second one is less is more. So it's easy to get carried away with wanting to target lots of different areas. I've definitely been guilty of that. But we found that to achieve more, we really want to stay focused on what has the biggest impact and what success looks like for each ENG group. So to help with this, we have lots of kind of governance and tools in place. So things like a charter template. So each of our ENGs have a charter, which they update each year or kind of throughout the year as well. And it's a one-page document which captures their purpose, their mission, their challenges, their opportunities, as well as what success looks like for them within that year. And then they also have me as a support as well. So my role kind of acts as a coordinator to help join the dots between these ENGs and other functions and HR within the company. So just ensuring that everyone's talking to the right people, that we avoid duplication of work, etc. Third is to create a community of ENG leads. So these ENGs don't act in isolation. They really work really well together, which obviously is a huge thing for intersectionality as well. So we have a Teams chat for all of our leads, which is really active. The guys are super passionate. And we also meet quite regularly and even with the sponsors each quarter as well. And this way that we can all kind of share learnings, best practices, find commonalities, and we find that in doing so, we can have a bigger impact and a larger voice in the company. Fourth, give them budget. So we've given each of our ENGs £1,000 actually to play with, and they can spend that as they wish according to their charter. So sometimes that will be spent on activations and events, other times it will be spent on certifications and partnerships. And then fifth is really recognition. So these are voluntary roles. Our leads go above and beyond to deliver for us. And so you make sure that you recognise them through senior networking opportunities, but also by including it as an objective in their end of year reviews as well. So sorry, I'm going to ask you to just click on one last time and you can stop sharing. Thanks, Dave. So really that's kind of all I wanted to share from me, but I just wanted to introduce you to Annie Law, who is our ENG for Danone parents, and she's going to share a little bit about her experience, why she volunteered as a lead, and what her learning is fantastic. And much, and please feel free to turn the screen sharing off. Thank you.
Lovely. Thanks, Sophie.
Well, thank you so much, Sophie, for the intro. So, hi, everybody. I'm Annie-Laure. As you could hear, I'm French, working for Danone, so that's why, maybe. Yes, so as Sophie said, I'm leading the Danone Parents ENG, which is a very exciting opportunity for me. I've been in Danone for the last 2 years and a working parents for the last 12 years. So I have 3 children, 3 girls, 12, 9, and 3 years old. So I'm a very busy mom. Through my career, I moved from being part-time, came back to full-time in Danone. And when this was announced that they were looking for lead for different ENGs, working parents, obviously, attracted me because I really feel passionate about, anything to do around just managing your life as a parent and against your career. How could you develop your career and still managing whatever you have to do with your kids and so on? So there's 3 things I wanted to talk about to you today. So the first one is, why do I volunteer? So I just explained it. The second one is how did this help me in terms of my personal development? And then what did I learn from it? So I volunteered a year and a half ago. It was at the beginning of co-leadership with another colleague of mine, and we created this wonderful. It started very small with a community of maybe 20 of us as working parent in Danone. And we really wanted to create this new engagement within all of us in Danone because, yes, you work with colleagues in your department, but you don't know many people around you. So it was a wonderful way of connecting different working parents from different hubs and everything. And we started creating a little steer committee, which is now going across the UK and Ireland because we're based in 2 hubs in Danone UKI. And then I connected with different colleagues. So how did it help me? Because I really felt like I contributed to support working parents within Danone in terms of not only exchanging tips about parenting, how to cope with your life at home, but also how could working parents in Danone can grow their career and make sure that they feel empowered to do so. And my main learning was until now was basically learning with my colleagues because, as Sophie mentioned, we just started this a year and a half ago, and that was especially Danone Parents is quite a unique, I think, employee network group. I haven't seen many working parent groups outside Danone. Also, I'm very proud to say that we've been sharing lots of information, like recently with the adolescents Netflix series, lots of parents raised the issue about should I give a phone to my young child, how do we protect it? So we proactively raise awareness about and organize webinar around those hot topic basically for our working parents community. And our members are really a very varied group. So it can be single parents, parents who just had a new baby, parents with teenager, same-sex parents. So it's a very, very wide and very enriching community where we can share different tips. And my highlight for the past year and a half has been that we had an activation week last September, where we really showcase what we can do for our members, and that really raised the engagement within Danone, and we got lots and lots of members. So we have around 130 members now within Danone. We have a team chat as well, where we signpost different tips for our members and anything we think is relevant for them. We work very closely with HR as well on anything to do with parental policy and sharing information when needed. We had some lunchtime seminar with an external coach about work-life balance, and we're planning to have soon summer, May event to bring together maybe some of our working parents so they can chat and see them, meet in person. So all over, just to wrap up now, I think I'm very proud that so far we've achieved quite a lot in this short period of time within our working parents community, and I look forward to continue supporting our working parents in Danone. Thank you very much.
Wow, Sophie, Annie Law, thank you so much. That was incredible. Thank you for your generosity and sharing that journey with us, coupled with the highs, the lows, and all those road bumps in between that we all try and navigate to create that cultural engagement for our teams. Just wonderfully insightful, amazingly insightful, and incredibly inspirational too. And you can clearly see the wonderful support that sits in Danone around ENG, and how those teams are really brought together and encouraged to thrive. It's so special and it's amazing to listen to. And we are incredibly proud to have you in the community. And huge congratulations again on your 2 incredibly well-deserved ICE Awards in November. Sophie, Annie Law, thank you again for all your time with us this morning. Absolutely wonderful. And before we introduce our final guest speaker, just a very gentle reminder that if you are yet to do so, please join our includability community. James is going to be wonderful. We've got a link that we can pop in the chat feed for you so that you can create your community platform logins at your leisure and choose the membership option that you feel works best for you. For individual members, we have our free community plan. This will give you access to a range of starter tools and resources to support your role. Alternatively, of course, you can access the full range of extensive tools and member benefits through the paid Community Plan Pro. So you've got a couple of options there. And of course, if you're an organization interested in creating a more inclusive, sustainable, and mentally healthy workplace, then we have our Business Gateway membership. Or, of course, you can certify as an includability committed employer. There's a range of options to make it super financially accessible for you. And of course, any questions or information that you need, please don't hesitate to let us know. We're yours for a virtual couple whenever you need us, and we'd be thrilled to support in any way that we can. But now, for our final guest speaker, I'm delighted to introduce the very lovely Jill Harding. Jill's the Vision Care Consultant at Eyemed, and Eyemed are one of our includability member benefit partners. And I'm thrilled that we have Jill with us to talk through the range of values that Vision benefits can provide for your team within the workplace. Jill, lovely to have you with us as always. And the virtual floor is yours.
Well, good morning, everybody, and hopefully you can see my screen. Let me see if I can get it into a slideshow for you. Yes, good morning. I've really enjoyed the speakers so far, and hopefully you'll learn something a little bit about Eyemed and what we can do to help your team. But look, why is employee eye care important? Did you know that if an employee uses a screen as part of their role regularly, they are entitled to an eye test paid for by their employer, and it's really important. I did an employer event yesterday, and it was amazing how many people just said, "Oh, I don't think there's anything wrong with my eyesight," but actually it's more about eye health. Safety wear. Nearly 2,000 workers in the UK suffer an eye injury every day. I was staggered by that statistic, and I actually checked it out in 3 different places because I couldn't believe it was that many. And it's so simple to get right with our, award-winning eye safety wear that we can offer. And just in case we didn't think there were enough things going on in a woman's world, did you know that women are especially vulnerable to eye conditions? And if it's unchecked, they can develop into a more serious problem. So things like hormonal changes, we have a longer lifespan, and also nutritional reasons lead to perhaps more vulnerability in deteriorating eye health. Eyemed International has done some research recently and says that by 2050, our research shows that over 50% of the global population will become myopic, short-sighted. And, there's a business case for making sure that your employees have the right eyewear. They're certainly going to be less productive if they can't see. And again, going back to this event yesterday, it was incredible how many people said to me, "I haven't got anything wrong with my eyesight," but picked up a leaflet, literally held it to their nose and said, "Oh yeah, that's good." If you see a colleague squinting or complaining about headaches or pulling the screen very close to them, just perhaps gently suggest they might need to get their eyes checked, because it's a very simple thing. It takes about 15 minutes and it could save their eyesight in the long run. And a particular passion of mine is to make sure that people who are driving have got the right eyewear, because again, another statistic is that a lot of people are being injured or even killed due to another driver's poor eyesight. One of my hobbies is that I'm a motorcyclist, and I help my husband train people to pass their motorbike test at the weekends. And we do the eyesight check with people, and it's incredible how many people turn up for motorbike training who cannot read a number plate from 20 meters, 65 feet. So perhaps give that a little test if you think your driving is good. Are you reading the signs as you go down the road? So what can we offer you to get over this conundrum? As being part of the Includability family, we can offer you what's called an Eyemed office voucher. It's a really good way of effectively offering decent eye care to your employees. There's more details about it on the portal, but being part of the family means that you get a member price. You can follow the link and sign up very easily. Going back to Gunraj's point, we do have terms and conditions that you need to accept so that you absolutely understand what we're offering and what's in it for you. But we are part of a large group. We actually own Vision Express. So if you go to Vision Express, you know, for a price of £57.50, you can offer your employees a full eye test and then £75 to spend in store. And because we actually own and produce the manufacturing plants that create beautiful designer frames, if you wanted to have designer frames, mine are Radley, by the way, you can get a decent discount off of them. So always worth a look, and we'd be happy to help. It's a really simple process, actually. I recently went through an eye test process myself because I wanted to know how the process flowed, and it took about 2 minutes. So very, very straightforward there. We have opticians throughout the UK, about 600 Vision Express stores and 600 other stores, including David Clulow, John Lewis Opticians, and independents as well. So that's a little bit about us. It's a whistle-stop tour. I'm happy to answer any questions. Come and find me on LinkedIn. Come and find Eyemed UK on LinkedIn. We share some fantastic content, and it's really surprising how little people know about how much poor eye health can impact your life, not only in driving and safety, but using a screen at work as well. Thank you.
Jill, that was wonderful. Thank you so much. We love our partnership with Eyemed, and they really do provide an invaluable wellbeing service within the workplace. So please do reach out to Jill if you need any further support. And businesses can, of course, access, exactly as Jill said, their discount on Eyemed office vouchers services through the Includability community portal when you create your account. Jill, thank you again. That was wonderful. Finally, our hot date for your diaries is our next employee support group. That will be happening on Wednesday, the 28th of May. I can't believe how quickly this year is going. Same time, 10:30 a.m., where we'll be hosting 3 more fantastic guest speakers. Mira Somji, founder of Clusivity, Melissa Sterling, senior ED&I wellbeing and charity manager at Halfords, and Kevin McCrombie, British Army veteran and partnerships manager at B Corp certified Karma, who support business communities to plant trees across the UK. So please do join us. We'd love to have you there. And that registration link will be popping in the chat feed for you shortly. James, thank you so much. That's brilliant. And that brings us to the end of our ESG this morning. It's flown by. A huge thank you to our absolutely brilliant guest speakers, to Zoe, Gunraj, Sophie, Annie Law, and Jill for sharing their invaluable insights and their wisdom with us today. And a huge, huge thank you to every single one of you for joining us this morning. It's wonderful to be in your company as always. And until we all meet again in May, please let's keep working in partnership to develop that mentally healthy and inclusive workplace culture. Can't wait to see you all next month. Love to you all and have an incredible rest of your week. Take good care, everyone.